So that's kind of like, that does take a huge step out of the process.
Yes, so they became less profitable. You know, at the peak, I was paying like $3.25 an hour, $325 an hour for a Pro Tools session.
But that is true to many professions.
Well, so with the shutdown of the studios, though, it changed the business model. What bands started to become not profitable for record labels, and if anybody knows about managing a band, they're notoriously difficult to manage, and it requires a lot of money. Just
never managed a band.
Yeah, I haven't either. But, so you just have, you know, so now they that's when you pretty much only started seeing solo artists, and if they go on tour or record an album where they need like a live session drummer or guitarist, the record company will pay someone to do it. You know, but that's the extent of it.
That's all there is to it. It doesn't take
It's just more profitable now to have just a solo artist.
Everything is fully automated now. I mean, all this editing, everything, all these apps, like anybody can put out the most amazing content now, you know, with enough practice or guidance, or even just full automation. I mean, CapCut with the captions, and, you know, these major platforms are putting out all the free software to create amazing content. It even destroys those third party app developers that are able to create these plugins and, you know, add-ons. It's like the platforms themselves are, you know, buying those up or creating them internally. So domains, in my opinion, are finished. Like everything is just platformed. Everybody is being put into Google and Meta, or Apple and Microsoft. I mean, those four corporations, you know, are right now and probably in the future will always be the dominant form of, you know, media consumption and creation.
Well, I think you forget one big major player, which is OpenAI. Not Google, not
That's
Apple.
Microsoft though.
That's OpenAI.
Well, the thing is about AI though, that came out because there was like a day, the Senate, or was it Senate or Congress had they were talking about this, and so basically, like when it comes to music, the shit that's created by AI is anything that's generated is not it's not gonna be considered intellectual property, which is, you know, it's kind of good.
What do you mean? How can you regulate this?
Sure. So if Chat GPT puts out, in other words, if you were to take a Chat GPT generated content and then use it to make let's say make a song, and you got paid money for it, and Chat GPT can't like sue you for it. It's not their intellectual property because it was at your heels. Yeah. But I mean, realistically, if you know music theory, if you are just familiar with the like chromaticism, like anything really having to do with music theory to some extent. I mean, it's way easier to create music now than it would have been like, you know, 20, 30 years ago.
Look, I can create, you know, I can create an hit for you in like literally 90 seconds. Composing, singing, lyrics, everything. 90 seconds.
Using AI or?
Yeah. Sono. You know Sono? Sono is like an app that creates songs. They can kind of see demos of what other people did, and it's like really good shit. Maybe I can play something.
I mean, I personally like find it more. I'm somebody who likes to compose music.
Yeah.
Like, so I've never like.
You can describe like, or you can give reference or describe like this beat, or like more like a schlager, or more for the 80s, or more like techno with the this beginning and that ending, like we can describe. Like the more you kind of take control, then the more you have control. But if you just write me a Schlager about Pepe, you will just make shit up.
Yeah, it's
What's a
kind of,
Schlager? What is that?
Schlager is like it's a hit song that used to be like in Germany in the 80s, 90s. It's like a hit. You never heard the word Schlager?
that sounds like a German word.
No.
Yeah. Let me see if there's a better definition. But my definition is from experience.
They call bar rock.
They call what?
What?
Bar rock.
Bar rock?
Oh, what?
Can't hear what he's.
Oh, okay.
Oh, bar rock.
So, like, Daniel, I think the thing is, though, is like once you, like, people who I guess have an ear for it, it's like being able to, how do I put it? Getting down the sounds you want that's in your head isn't the hard part, or even knowing different styles and cadences and different syncopated patterns, like when it comes to drums and all of that shit. It's more, I guess there's people like me who just think it's fun because it's creative, not because.
What are you quoting
Listen,
a movie
I-
Taxi Driver?
We saw it a few times when with the technology advanced and then a lot of professions kind of disappeared. For example, photography. Okay, photography was something that very few people could do. You need to know a lot about, like exposure and like lights and shadow and like ISO and whatever. And still it helps, but you can still produce like amazing shots without it now. And with like also video editing and like photoshopping and like for example Photoshop before that how they used to touch photo with action like with like pencils and pens and then photocopy it and then like actually like develop it with like chemicals and like that kind of shit. And then when the computers came, they also said, it's not the same. And it's true because you don't have the understanding. But now with AI, also this understanding is gone. They can design it for you. They will find the colors that match. They will find the best cross. They will do the layout. Like, then you just do the tweaks. AI is like whatever the most
I wonder, even like with corporate media, like I kind of wonder where it's going to go. And as you have things like AI and you have even like studio grade cameras, from my understanding, I never worked in TV or cinema. You can do amazing things with the cameras that cost a few $1,000s, as opposed to like $100,000. And of course, you have things like DaVinci Resolve, and like a lot of the same software that is used by professional video editor or movie editors.
Listen, I saw promos of like 3 minutes of a movie that doesn't exist, but the shots that were there were like amazing, and it was a guy that did it on the weekend. You can now go to Amazon and you can actually sell a book that was written by ChatGPT, and Amazon just asks that you will declare it, but they cannot really force you and they cannot know.
Born soon
But
or
they try to prevent it at the
recognizing
beginning,
experience
but they
that
couldn't.
its whole relation to
But
rock
people
and
buy it also. People like to buy
experience
books
that
that
its
by
whole
ChatGPT.
Maybe there'll be like a little Steven Spielberg that with no formal Hollywood connections one day that comes up and creates an amazing movie, and everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck was that? We didn't see that coming.
Pepe, like storytelling is a profession. It's something you learn to do. It's not that even Spielberg had Hollywood connections. He's learned how to tell a story in a really persuasive and entertaining and emotionally moving
No,
way.
he's talented. No, when I say like he's talented, but he got the right people found him, and he found the right people in order to have access to a cinema studio, obviously. But I
And
mean,
the right timing.
exactly. And so, like, do I wonder? Could it be that there's some I don't know, some writer that goes to like NYU or some shit, and I don't know, maybe he makes a great fucking movie. Everybody's like, holy shit, how'd that happen?
To be honest, I think we got a bit desensitized lately to like advances, like the speed of advances that we have with audio visual is so fast that you're not shocked anymore. Who's talking? Randy.
I think Randy is unmuted but doesn't know it.
That's a Yaakov's thing.
So he knows a lot about this subject, by the way.
That's Yaakov's thing.
Hey, what are you trying to say about Yaakov?
No, that's not Yaakov.
Realistically, there's so many things though that where I think you'd require human talent. Like for example, you needing a musician that will like write a do chords and piano notes in a dramatic fashion, using MIDI. Of course, actors like you have to be able to act. It's not a skill everybody has.
Sometimes you see the
the camera and the cinematography and whatever. Like I saw some shit this week that was like
boys,
very,
come on, Nadia,
looked
we're
like
gonna be
very
late.
expensively
I'm about
produced.
to win this. Yes, you're looking
All the
nice. Come on,
costumes and
Nadia.
like everything, and it was completely AI,
You see,
including the
you look
actors.
beautiful.
Today,
Why do I
I
look
found
like
like a tool that you cannot put something to it, like a source, and then it creates a broadcast about it. And you hear like a girl guy like talking like, hey, and they're like making some jokes, but
You
it's
want to go
a
back over that?
podcast.
Yeah, that's
The stuff that I gave it, like I could put a book and they would talk about it. And I can even jump in. And then when I kind of, like we have here, kind of raise your hand. And then they were like, oh, hold on, yes, what do you would like to ask? And then you ask them something, and they drop you, they answer, and then they kind of go back very naturally to the conversation.
I'm sure they already have like, I know that there's been like porn where it's like saw it a couple years ago where it's like it'll be obviously a porn star, but then it's like through AI they could put like AOC's face, for example, on the woman.
That's
through AI they could put
it's
like
already happening.
AOC's face.
Free Palestine.
Yeah, we are running. Actually, it's the right topic.
Free Palestine.
About fake things that don't happen. But it's also like now. Look at the war. The entire war is. Have you seen the movie Wag the Dog?
Yeah, with Robert De Niro.
Yes,
No one talking about Pepe Dog.
I haven't seen it.
You know the storyline though.
War.
Yeah, basically they wanted to. There was like a scandal, and they wanted to kind of move the public's attention to something else. So they kind of created a war in the studio. Basically, it didn't really happen, but they kind of broadcast it, so everybody's attention was on the war instead of this scandal. The president, I don't remember exactly what. So basically,
It's the premise about Clinton bombing the aspirin facility in what was it, Serbia or somewhere, Croatia? I can't remember. Somewhere in the Balkans.
Yeah, but Wag the Dog,
Yugoslavia.
like nothing happened. It was completely like studio produced.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, Clinton actually did drop bombs and killed some janitor.
So what I'm saying, like basically, we see now video evidence, and those things, like anyone can create whatever they want now. I can create now an image of you fucking a goat, and it will look realistic.
That's what this app is all about. You can create anything on this app.
And I did it, and I have it, and I watch it like daily.
I actually love the fact that AI is getting more realistic because I've said so many offensive things that I'm not
want to use it as want to use it like that's not me. That's AI.
Yeah, I would just say, oh yeah, I used to do social audio apps all the time, and yeah, unfortunately, people were like taking my voice and using AI. I definitely would never say such things.
The thing is, that's part of the problem. That is like problem and a solution. That is like zero regulation on AI, and you have now actors like that are participating with us from like in conversations or even creating stuff that are not human, and we don't know it. Like until now, everything that was created by humans. Like
I know.
especially
Sorry,
if you talk about
this
things
is really
to do
boring.
with language or culture or stuff like this, books, like stories. It was all kind of human made, and now we come to an era that a lot of the stuff that we as human consume are not human made. Know what I mean? Or it's like
Yeah, but it's all going to be a recycling operation. People are just going to go back and take all the content and just repurpose it and recreate it using, AI. It's going to be the same shit, just regurgitated.
No, you create it. It actually creates new things, and that is the amazing thing about it. It's not only.
I know, but it can't create new categories. Like it's still the same niches. Like there's nothing new under the sun.
That's what I was about to say. Like, what I don't think AI is going to be able to do is that if you look at like every genre of music that was man-made that ends up sounding quite a bit different. I mean, I still think that innovation is gonna be something that comes from the people.
Why?
Like for example, like Seattle grunge.
I don't know what's that. Yes, like innovation will come from human, but now you have a lot of things that are created but by non-humans. It could be music, it could be art. I mean, the AI, like photos, are used now everywhere. Also in commercials, also in
it does it largely off of things that already exist or that have been conceptualized that it can like scrape from the internet. But
no, it's not scraping. Like you can create now a turtle that looks like a house.
But those things
with the language model. Okay, but you can also imagine something that is new. I, for example, asked him to imagine stuff. I, for example, told him, like, imagine a world where the Arabs accepted the partition plan and created an Palestinian state. And then I told him, like, create some nice stuff like that. And, imagine all kind of stuff based on what he knows. But at the end, language is what we as humans use to communicate. That's like what separates us from animals, from talking to each other, agreeing, telling stories. This is our infrastructure, and now we have this machine that can understand the language. It's not just copy paste. This is in Google. In Google, you need to be very specific because you understand that you're talking to a machine. With AI, you understand the language like I understand the language, like you understand the language. And this is why I can also create new things.
Well, you can't create Palestine.
Next to Narnia and Middle Earth. So, speaking of Trump, again, repeated this story about the United States owning and controlling Gaza. And then they asked him who will be there. And he said that the Palestinians, there are many countries that will accept them, that they will go to other countries. And the area will be freedom zone, he called it. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is what they meant by free Palestine.
He said that today?
Yes, in the press conference.
Who said what?
Trump said today again about United States owning Gaza and that the Palestinians there will be moved to other countries and that it will be a freedom zone. And then Bibi said that people that wants to live should be allowed to live or to go. This is what kind of like the mention that I saw. So I remember that he was talking about it, and then he kind of pulled back a bit, and now he kind of mentioned it again. So I was a bit honest with you, but I thought he was trying to pull back from it.
Could you say, what did Bibi say? Could you repeat that part? I want to be sure I get it.
That if people want to leave, they should be allowed to leave.
If people want to leave Gaza, they should be allowed to leave.
Yes, correct.
I believe that this is my understanding, is that Trump has given Bibi the green light to do whatever he thinks is necessary. And Bibi is not sure whether or not to take it. That's my reading of it. I mean, Trump has basically said to Bibi, you do what you need to do. And Bibi is not sure what to do. That's my read. And no one is sure what to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
Bibi
now,
has
this
political.
But
Do you want to go first?
no, go ahead.
Bibi
Respect
has.
the elderly.
Bibi has. Oh, thanks a lot. Now I've been drinking.
So, Norm, come on.
So,
Norm, go.
Bibi has political considerations that are really different from Trump's. And
There seems
I think
to be
Trump is
a
smart
problem,
not
which
be
is-
concerning himself with Bibi's political considerations.
He's like, baby, you got to figure this crap.
Bibi's pretty smart politically. And I think what he's doing is he's tightening the noose and seeing what happens. Tightening the noose and see what happens. Like he's going incrementally so that when people look back on this, he doesn't look like he did something horrible.
Right. And the first wave of people.
What do you think?
I really don't know. I don't know. I know this. It's a very rare confluence when you have Bibi as prime minister, Trump as president. It's last time this happened, some great things happened. So,
And an ongoing war.
well, the war broke out under Biden.
Yeah, but the situation that him, and an active war.
Aren't cell phones essentially holding back the hostages, meaning that to go in there with 5,000 soldiers and free the hostages would create so many videos of chaos that it would be brand suicide?
No, every
No.
building is booby trapped. You can't send in soldiers there. It's not the iPhones. I mean, they could theoretically, who knows what about that, but to me, it's that every building is booby trapped. They want 5,000 Israeli soldiers to invade. They want and then they kidnap them, kill them. You know, that's the reason, not iPhones.
No, I'm just saying that
people are not.
in Chicago,
Yeah, I
aggressive
agree that it's
policing is difficult because of phones. Aggressive policing, meaning that everything can be clipped to 3 seconds, 10 seconds, and taken out of
But
context.
what's what I just said? That every building is booby trapped.
Well, I like boobies, so trap me all you want.
Daniel, what do you think about what's this exchange? Oh, great! Now you pissed off Daniel.
Me? Moi?
I'm just kidding. So, what do you think about that? Why isn't Israel going in with more ground troops?
Because it's not the solution. Because again, if we will get close to like to take out husbands,
Right.
no. If we get closer, they will harm the hostages.
Right.
We are going inside, but we're gonna separate Gaza into parts.
Right. Yeah.
Daniel,
It's complicated stuff.
Yeah,
I don't have an answer. I do not have an answer. For once, I don't have an answer.
I always not sure why Israeli side don't use a map. I mean, they always say, we create a new corridor, we do this. I mean, mentally, I have no clue what is going on. It's very hard to understand Israeli communication. They don't like maps. Daniel, what happened? They don't like maps.
Maybe not like
It's an active war zone, and that information doesn't come in and out of active war zones. I mean, it's the nature of the environment, for security purposes.
So many times I follow like Israeli news, right? We are here, we are there, we create this, we create that. I always have to wait for someone who is able to convert that information into maps. Then I have better idea what is going on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost you for a minute. But we do have maps.
Map, like picture.
Yeah. If you're talking about the
1,000 word, I just don't get it. They always use language. I don't know whether it's a Hebrew way of thinking or what.
hold on. I'm trying to answer you. I got your point, but there is a map. If
The
you
fill
talk
in.
about the new
Now you might wonder what is in God's the fill in. And human.
next to Afaf, yes, there is a map that you can see, not just text. You want me to try and find it for you?
Yes, I mean it's like
1 second.
I mean, very often they are official people from BB office, right? And they talk like couple of times a day. Yeah, they just talk, no slides. They just stand and talk, no slides. How are we going to understand? I don't understand. Is it a Israeli culture? I just don't understand. No slides. How are we going to follow things?
Again, didn't you hear what I said?
Yes, but it's just to be honest, I try. I think
Dave, just take out a pencil, take out a piece of paper, draw a map. Dave, have fun, man.
I put in the chat a link to an Israeli article. If you will scroll down,
thank you.
you will see a map with 2 red lines. The one
It's the fill in.
the Philadelphia
Now you might wonder what is in God's the fill in. And human the fill in. You have the Shema. You have the first 2 paragraphs of the Shema. But God doesn't seem to need the Shema. So what is in God's to fill in? The verse, Mi ka'amcha Yisrael, goy echad ba'aretz, who is like your people Israel, one nation on earth. So our tefillin celebrate God, and God's tefillin celebrate Israel.
But he's creating maps, no?
लड़कियां जब कोई ख्वाब देखती हैं ना, उसे बजट के अनुसार बना कर देखती हैं। कभी जो आपके आसपास कोई लड़की ख्वाबों को पूरा करती दिखे ना, समझ जाना एक लंबा रास्ता तय किया उसने। परिवार की उम्मीदें, बेमतलब के सवाल और पाबंदियों से लड़कर यहाँ तक पहुंची। लड़कियां जब कोई ख्वाब देखती हैं ना,
क्या हुआ तेरे सपने का? हवा में उड़ गया ना? अरे
sacrifice, and it may have the short-term hardship. The reason.
Insensitivity.
Now, when you say cartography, I thought you studied the Turing cartography.
No. He's not into that shit.
How about welcome back cartography? Get it? Welcome back cartography.
Why did I welcome back though?
It's a TV show, Welcome Back, Kotter. Just trying to come up with other Carters. Anyway, Jimmy Carterography. I'm sorry. I'll be here all week, guys. I've had a rough day.
Going into the.
I mean, I'm not comparing myself to the hostages. They definitely had a rough.
How many hostages do they still have? 69? 59. And is there? I'm guessing it's known that. So is it unknown if all of them are alive?
No, we know. I don't remember the exact number. I don't want to say how many, but we know. We can find it. Just don't remember. I mean, we don't know for sure. We know for sure for some that are alive. We know for sure that are dead, and I think some are presumed alive.
What do you think the average hostage is thinking? As in, I really wish they would come and save me, even if things went bad. I would prefer they still came now. I mean, that would be my general attitude with regards to the people holding me. With a knife to their throat.
They want the deal. They will go out.
Yeah, I want to go back what Norman talked about, right? Right now, he say Bibi is like walk a baby step and then look left, look right, and see what happened. And then if it's too loud, and then retrieve a half baby step, and then look left, look right, and then move another baby step, look left, look right. So So why this is happening, right? So and Trump also can't understand this baby step. Nobody understands. There's no map. there's no like benchmark, there's no milestone. Like, okay, in 1 week we're going to move 1 meter, right? Because right now it's moving 1 centimeter, right? So nobody I can read this.
Dave,
you.
I assure you, the people on the ground are fully aware of the map. You may not know the map, but does that really matter? The people on the map know the map.
Wait. I missed the climax of Dave's comment, which, of course, he's citing me, so I'm grateful, and I think it's clever.
He's saying he wants an infographic.
So previously, we let them have the leverage of the hostages in addition to the leverage of world opinion. So Trump removed one of the two sources of their leverage, which is world opinion and the opinion of the United States, and the United States holding the military supplies for Israel. Those things are now removed. So now the Gazans have less leverage, or Hamas, or whatever it is that we're dealing with there. So now Bibi still has to keep the country together because half the country is like, we don't like you, Bibi. Like, and I don't know what, give back the hostages, we don't care about Gaza, which is very short-sighted and emotional. Daniel, what do you think about what I'm saying? I keep checking in with Daniel because he's an actual Israeli and I'm an American trying to figure this out from over here.
Well, he knows his stuff. Daniel is one of the best communicators on this app. One of the best people as far as communicating. Yes, he's passionate, but he doesn't lose self-control. He has very unique skills. I always give it up for him.
Daniel, do you think you have a good sense of humor?
Does have less leverage.
He does.
So that was some shopping.
I'm answering for Daniel.
He still has to keep the country together because
Oh man, you guys. Daniel is flying tonight on a plane.
Actually, sorry, already arrived.
Heading for Spain in Spain.
To Tel Aviv. I'm in Tel
Does
Aviv.
anyone know that song?
Is that Neil Diamond?
No, Elton John.
Daniel, my brother. I know. Yes, Daniel, my brother.
You are
Yes.
older than me. Do you
still feel the
feel
pain
the pain of the scars?
of the scars that won't heal this? I
Your
have
eyes
lost.
have died. It was on the album
Right.
Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player. It was the big single was Crocodile Rock, but the second single was Daniel.
Daniel, you're the star.
Yeah, it's a great song, man. Every song on that album is great. It doesn't get enough credit. There's a lot of good songs
Why
on
is
it.
it? Oh, hold on. The hand raising. Okay.
So today, BB talk about in the Oval Office problem with Turkey, right? So also we now talk about the problem with Turkey, and he hoped that the situation with Turkey will not get worse. And for the last 1, 2, 3 weeks, right? Norman talk about their different public opinion in the Israeli society. So I've been attending, here, right? Sometimes we have people who want to still look for coexistence and all this stuff. More focus without having the bigger picture that Turkey want to come down. Right? The word English was called oblivion. That means like you're focusing on this place, your enemies are all gathering around and nobody is talking about it. But if you see a bigger picture, we are surrounded and you still have different opinion. Until everything is destroyed, you still continue to have different opinions and you're still being very careful to have different opinion. So how you're going to survive?
You mean how are they gonna survive? You you keep breathing.
You know, Seal said it best. We're never gonna survive unless you get a little crazy. You know that song? Anybody?
Yes, oh yeah, I was into him when he came out. Although in retrospect, he hasn't held up very well at all. That's Seal, no?
Yeah, it's one of the greatest songs
He's
of that
broke.
decade. I don't think he gets enough credit. To me, the musical bed, the pulsing of that track. Sometimes I've heard mixes where he doesn't start singing for a minute, and
wasn't he with Heidi Klum?
Say again?
Yeah, he was. He also dated a friend of mine, also a model, and he told her to come over to his hotel room wearing a trench coat with nothing underneath.
I mean, he's not, but so he gets the women.
Yes, he was a white girl, despite the scarification. This was in the 90s, though.
Well, dude, wasn't he married to a supermodel?
Heidi Klum. I don't know if it was during that time, though.
So is that your friend?
Heidi Klum was like, I always thought she was super hot.
So Pepe, how long?
Like that type.
Pepe, how long do you say there must have been a Jewish producer behind Seal?
That's what? Couldn't hear you.
I was making a joke saying that you're going to say there was a Jewish music producer behind the success of Seal.
Well, when people say anything about Jews and music, it has to do with record labels. It's not really the producers. I mean, I think the best songwriter in like maybe in the last several decades was Jewish, and he was just a folk singer. He wasn't like, he didn't get his start as like an industry plant.
Just a folk singer. Now Bob Dylan is just a folk singer.
Well, that's how he got his start.
I thought you were talking about Richard Cohen.
I know very well.
Wait, you know Bob Dylan?
No, I know very well that he got his start as a folk singer. I do not know Bob Dylan. I do know the guy that went through his garbage, though, A.J. Weberman.
I mean, he did write.
What did Dr. Weberman find in the garbage?
Like, I didn't know. Like, my favorite. It's really the only Jimi Hendrix song I liked, which is All Along the Watchtower. Like, I didn't even know that was written by Bob Dylan.
Yeah, but he wrote a lot. He wrote Mr. Tambourine Man for the Byrds. He wrote. I mean, I'm staying in the '60s. I mean, so many people covered his songs. I mean, the Frankie Valli did a whole album. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons did a whole album of Bob Dylan songs. Bands would do whole albums of Dylan songs. The Hollies did a whole album of Dylan songs. That's what caused Graham Nash to quit. But that's what bands would do. Yeah, I mean, the Byrds kept doing Dylan songs for the rest of their career after Mr. Tambourine Man.
Yeah.
Johnny Rivers, Tina Turner.
Right.
Yeah, people had hit songs. I mean, Manfred Mann, remember that song, The Mighty Quinn? That was the #1 song.
Wait, that was written by Dylan?
Yeah, The Mighty Quinn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Dude, it wasn't even on a Dylan album until like the 70s. When he had his motorcycle accident, alleged motorcycle accident, and went into like privacy, seclusion, his manager, he kept recording. He moved the band up to Woodstock, and they recorded these tapes together that are called the basement tapes. It's in the basement of the house that the band lived in. And his manager took like the best of those recordings and sent them out to other artists to get covers. And yeah, a lot of covers happened. It's called the basement tapes. A lot of artists covered those songs. Like Manfred Mann, that's an obvious one, but a lot of other bands.
What kind of split would he get like on a cover?
Say again?
What kind of remuneration? What kind of compensation would he get? What was like? Do you think the deal for
Well, in today's money, it might be like 10 to 15 cents per unit sold. By the way, that's talking about units sold. I'm not in the world of streaming. I don't really know what it adds up to. But 1 million copies times 5 cents, or I guess that's $50,000. And that's just from the units sold. Then there's radio play too. Roughly the same amount. I mean, we're talking per year, etc. I know it doesn't seem like much, but over time it adds up.
Yeah, after Phil Spector died, I bought a couple books about Phil Spector because I just assumed there was something interesting, about like his business
I've
life.
read multiple books about Phil Spector.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's very interesting.
I mean, he was like an audio engineer, also like an antagonist, meaning he would go on these talk shows and be a prick. It was like he was the toxic person in a clown house room.
Well, let me explain what he was. Okay. First of all, he came up. He was in a band himself. Like he had this song called "To Know You Is to Love You," like a big hit in the '50s. It was a one-hit wonder. His high school band had a hit, and then he became a producer. I mean, how he became a producer is a story unto itself. But he was sent to New York. He was very good at apprenticing himself to huge people. He hung out with Ahmet Erdogan. When he first showed up in New York when he was 19 or 20 or 21. He just had some introductions, and he went to these people. He was a hustler. He was a great guitar player. That's what people don't realize about Phil Spector is that he was a session guitarist when he came to New York. He plays guitar on like the Drifters, the Rose in Spanish Harlem. He's the guitarist, and then he learned to produce while he was doing that. And he would apprentice to all these people like Ahmet Erdogan and Lieber and Stoller. He signed 3 different publishing contracts, signed 3 different exclusive publishing contracts. 3 different people looked that they published them. But then into the 60s, when he was 23 or 24, he had a lot of hit songs. And the New Yorker published an article calling him the tycoon of teen. And that, I mean, he was already big, but that put him over. And he became a public persona. So Phil Spector is actually in an episode of I Dream of Jeannie. He is an actor in the movie Easy Rider. He became more, he was a Hollywood guy who liked to hang out at night in all the places. He was in his 20s. He had a lot of money.
Spector's an Easy Rider?
Yeah, he plays a drug dealer in Easy Rider. And his bodyguard at the time, who was kind of a famous person too, played his driver in Easy Rider. It's a small part, Norm. It's a small part, but yeah, he's in it. But it's also an episode of I Dream of Jeannie where he signed. People would call him to get quotes, but his peak was relatively brief because Beatlemania came along and just created a whole new standard of what people expected from music. Suddenly, everyone expected the bands to write their own songs and play their own instruments, and that's not what the Phil Spector thing was. So the Wall of Sound had a great run, but his genius was that he owns all those records and the publishing too. He wasn't producing them for other artists. He created the tracks, and then he put artists on top of them, and he owned it all. So he kept making money for the rest of his life. Every time these things came out, and then he licensed them in movies and TV shows and made a shitload of money. And he took the position that he did not owe royalties to the artists. That they were all work for hire, and so if he licensed a song by the Ronettes in a movie, it gets $200,000. Everybody else would split that money 50-50 with the artist. And his position was, no, it's a work for hire. We don't owe you anything. They finally sued him, and they won against him, and he had to pay out a lot of money. But by that point, he was super rich. I could go further. If you've read the books, you know some of what I'm talking about.
I've just read some parts of the books, but a lot of it is psychopathic, behavior.
His father checked it when he was 12. His father checked into a hotel in New York City and shot himself, and that's the beginning of the sad part of his life. He has a sister who is like really messed up, makes Phil Spector look like a poster boy, and his mother is fucked up. His mother, he had terrible relations with everyone in his family. His whole family is so fucked up that it makes him look like the normal one. And then it just goes downhill from there. Yeah. But he was not a drug addict. He was sober. When he shot Lana, he was sober. When he was younger, he had problems, but at that point, he was sober. Or anyway.
It's really the success story, which is like the really most interesting part. I mean, that was when you could actually make money in music, and I don't. It's a very interesting story, from start to finish. I mean, even how he ended up in jail and his wig and
Right.
everything. It's just the whole story is just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the one thing was that he didn't like to be alone. And so he would have, like, when the bars in LA and California, the lounges, whatever they are, they close up, right? And, like, even if you're, like, a member of a private club, they close up by, like, 1 or 1:30. And so he would invite people to his home. And then he wouldn't let them leave. Like, he was a very nocturnal guy. Like, let's say he woke up at 5 or 6 in the evening. For him, 2 in the morning is just midday. So people would come back to his house and they'd want to leave. And he would pull a gun on them saying, "You can't leave." I mean, he had done that before he shot that woman, Lana. He had a pattern of doing that, of saying to people, "You can't leave," and pulling a gun. So, yeah.
Well, that makes him a psychopath, Randy.
I know. I'm just, explicating it.
There was
I'm not defending it.
What's really weird, though, psychopaths generally don't have strong, what do you call it? They don't have strong human bonds. Yeah, they don't have emotional attachments to people. So, which is
But
kind
he
of...
didn't want to be by himself.
Sociopathic is similar to psychopathic. It's where you kind of exhibit low impulse control and a willingness to violate other people's rights, but you do have to some extent emotional empathy, where you do feel for others.
well, either way, he was a crazy fucker. I mean, there's just never ending amounts of stories about Phil Spector and his behavior, and how he treated people. And it's just
I'm going
it's
to tell
all
you
on
another
record.
one. I'm going to tell you another crazy story. So he married Ronnie Spector, who's a hot, beautiful, talented singer, right, from the Ronettes. But he was intensely jealous of anyone who's interested in her, and a lot of people were. Mick Jagger, the Beatles, everybody wanted to date her, but he snagged her. He marries her, and she's in love with him. But then he treats her like a bird in a cage. She thought, okay, I'm marrying Phil Spector. Phil's going to make records for me. No, he wanted her home, barefoot and pregnant. But she couldn't get pregnant. So she did, like, she hated that life, but she couldn't leave. So she was an alcoholic, and she would drink and have a bender, and she looked forward to rehab. It was a way to get out of the house. So she'd have a bender, she'd go into rehab, and come out, and start all over again. So one time, I think at one point, she couldn't have a baby, so they decide to adopt a baby, and they tell everybody that she had the baby naturally. I think, like, he might have even, like, had photos taken of her with, like, a pillow or something in her belly. They tell everybody, and that baby she was happy to have. I think his name is Dante, right? And that's a child, and so she loved that child. But so Phil feels that he's losing her. She goes to rehab, and she gets out of rehab, and he takes her to a playground, and he points out these little twins. And he goes, "What do you think of them?" She goes, "Oh, they're cute." He goes, "That's good, because I just adopted them for us." So he adopts twins without even telling her. I mean, what a nutter, what a narcissist. And guess what? She's not into it. So she's been trying to leave him. Like, that was his way to try and chain her to the mansion. But she leaves anyway. And she gets joint custody of the first child, Dante, but the twins, she doesn't really want them. And so Phil, he can't return them. He hires, like, tell everybody, those kids were raised by his valets, his housekeepers. He really had very little to do with them. I mean, I don't know what it's a very sad story. Now, and that happened, let's say, in the 70s. By the late 80s, he did marry a woman who he had some kind of relationship with, and he had 2 more kids with her, a boy and a girl. And then when the boy was, like, young, maybe 5, he died of cancer. He died of some rare disease, and that sent Spector back to the big depression cycle. he also, in his mind, he was huge friends with John Lennon. He did produce the first couple of Lennon solo records, Instant Karma, Imagine. And so when Lennon died, he also went into a depressive funk. So by the end, he would tell people, everybody I loved has died. My father, John Lennon, my son. But he was really on a pity party. He was a disturbed guy. Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me speak. I love the books that I read about him, and I'm happy to share what I had. The funniest part was that he always would talk about a book about a movie about his life, and he always wanted Pacino to play him. I swear to God, he wanted Al Pacino. He said, the only guy who could play me is Al Pacino. And sure, after he went to jail for murder, they made a movie about the trials, and Al Pacino played him. It's wild.
Kind of looks like him a little bit.
Just enough. They're both short, intense, passionate. Yeah, Mediterranean. Is that wild?
Nothing could match the insanity that Spector actually brought to the case. The way he looked, the way he appeared in court was like that. Those weird wigs that didn't seem to be on correctly.
Right.
He came across like a crazy man.
Right. He had the money. He had the money to hire the best lawyers ever. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first one was a mistrial. There were 2 trials, if I'm not mistaken. The second one is when he went to jail finally. Yeah.
I just watched the preview with Al Pacino. It's amazing. Al Pacino really is such a huge success. I mean, but it is so the Spector stories, they should make a movie about his life, not just the trial.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And listen, you're preaching to the choir, because I love all rock movies. I'd love to see a movie of his career and all the musicians. I'd love it.
Have you ever seen Spector on the Dick Cavett show, I think, or some old black and white talk show where he went on there, and he's just a total prick. He's so angry.
I've seen a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's also a prick. That's right. He would say obnoxious things.
Who, Spector?
Yeah. He met David Geffen was a friend, a cousin of somebody. But Geffen was 18, 19, in let's say 1960, before he was anybody. And somehow he was invited to a Spector session, and afterwards they all went to a restaurant diner, and Spector made him sit with the drivers. He couldn't make David Geffen made the baby, so you can't hang with us. He made them hang with the drivers. He was always a bitch. Always.
See, I thought he was anti-establishment, and that's why a lot of these artists were attracted to him as the organizer of their music, because he was portrayed as anti-establishment, but really I think he was just a psychopath person.
He wasn't. Listen, he had hit songs, and that's why people were attracted to him. I mean, these were, he did crazy. He saw himself as a puppet master. Svengali is too kind a word, because Svengali implies that you've created a standalone talented artist, but these bands were not that. The Crystals, he would, let's say there was a band called the Crystals, but he has a song ready to go. He's written a track, and the Crystals are on tour. He'd go get, they tell everybody, another singer, Darlene Love, someone like that, and just have her cut it, sing it, and put the name The Crystals on it.
More like a Svengali, Randy.
You don't think he's a puppet master? I mean, he's just controlling it all. He's saying, you sing here. I'm going to call you Bobby Socks in the New Jeans or something like that. I'm not, hey, my name's, I'm just going to create an artist out of you.
But does that...
When he signed Green, I think the name for somebody who does that is a Svengali.
I guess so. He wanted to work with Ike and Tina Turner. He wanted to work with Tina Turner. So, but they were a duo. So he says, they come to the studio. He's written River Deep Mountain High. He recorded the track, and he's worked really hard on it. And he says, Tina, okay, you're going to sing this track. And there's nothing for Ike Turner to do. And Ike said, I'm here at the studio. What am I going to do? And Spector goes, you're going to deposit the checks. basically you're just going to count the money. He had no use for Ike Turner. It was all Spectre. He put, with his band, which was called the Wrecking Crew, the top musicians in California, at Gold Star Studio.
You sing here. I'm
with the track.
I don't know if you get this, Randy, but the Hollywood ethos is so kind of brutal that I never quite felt comfortable there, to be honest with you. As much time as I spent, and there were some nice people there, but mostly it's really cold. And I never did find a way to deal with it.
Yeah, well,
because I was serious about people who make things. There's a lot of yourself goes into making things. It's ego driven, and you work really hard on these things for really long hours. And I don't know, between the money and the power and the competition and the status, I'm not trying to make apologies for myself, but I never felt comfortable with the level of egoism and competition and grandiosity and status
and connections and connections.
I'm okay with the connections.
I mean, it's very relationship driven.
What's the basis of the relationships, though?
I always felt that if I lived in LA, that I would probably be making about another X amount of money more, because I'd be dropping off my kids at school with people, and going to synagogue, and going to Boy Scouts, and going to this. They socialize with each other. And that's one of the bases for relationships.
Look at Phil Spector though; like he's a black exploitation essentially.
Well, if you're going to say it, no, I'm not going to go there with you. No, he had a huge hit with the Righteous Brothers, who were a white band. No, I don't think he's exclusively black musicians.
No, it's not exclusive.
More than anyone else. You could say that about Ahmet Ertegun. You could say that about Chris Blackwell. You could say that about a lot of music executives.
I think that Christmas special he made is like the most successful Christmas album ever produced.
Yeah,
in the beginning, the Ronette.
She put it out every year.
Yeah,
sold a lot every year, right? It's Frosty the Snowman, all those great songs.
Yeah, real classic American songs. It's unbelievable.
Norm, I'm going to reply more to you. Do you think that maybe you didn't like Hollywood because you are more of a documentarian, and that is not a documentary city per se? They're into,
that's part of it.
Yeah. I love it. I love LA. I don't live there, but I do love it. I do like it when I go out there for events.
Yeah, I like it for doing work.
Yeah.
Very much, actually.
Yeah. Getting ready to go out again for a brief trip.
I can say if you're a creative person, a lot of the work that you do for free until they start paying you, and then they pay you very well.
Yeah, that's one way to sum up the entertainment industry.
And the people who make the deal for you, they want to take even more money than you get.
Well, now we're on to another topic.
We're on to the topic of agents. Packaging. Oh, you remember.
Yeah, if you want to explain it to the people in the room what packaging is, you can. I can't.
Packaging is when a talent agency like, say, William Morris introduces a writer-director to a actor or a cinematographer or all of them, and they put together a package, which is the team that will create a piece of work, and then they get a line in the budget for doing that. It comes across like highway robbery.
Right.
They take a lot of money. like I'm saying $1 million. I said I probably told you my story. I looked at the budget, and they, behind my back, the talent agency had taken $1 million off my budget. $1 million.
And what did that represent relative to your budget? Was that 5%, 10%, 15%? What was it relative to your budget?
God, that's a great question. Let me just think for a second. It was easily 20 to 30%. I have to go and look.
Holy shit.
All of them. I mean, they just come up with a number. These guys are the mafia, Randy.
Right. You know, I really can't speak on it because I don't know anything about it. From books.
It's literally the mafia. It's like you pay them, or they protect you, or you don't do business in this town.
I think I saw some documentary about a talent agency that worked with Marty Scorsese and Al Pacino, some woman who had this very popular talent agency. And it was like her whole career. She had done it her whole life. It was a very interesting documentary. I can't remember the name.
Well, there's the famous agent. I'm trying to remember her name. Before Michael Ovitz, her name was, what was it? You know, like there's kind of a legendary, she represented Streisand.
I know who you mean.
Right. There's a book out about her, a famous female agent. I'm putting it into, oh man. No, Tom famous.
My friend is the daughter of, what's the guy's name?
Sue Mengers is the female agent.
Sue Mengers, yeah.
She was
the guy.
She rose from secretary to super agent. There's a book about her called "Can I Go Now?" Yeah, in her peak, she represented Streisand. I mean, Streisand was a friend, but this was the thing: is that this was her downfall. There was some movie. Her husband was a director, like a French director who was trying to make it in the U.S. She married him. And at some point, Streisand did a movie with her husband, and it was a huge bomb. And then Streisand left her as an agent, and that was the beginning of the end. You know, Mike Ovitz, et cetera, you know, took her, became the super agent. She lost a lot of her clients, but at one point she had Peter Bogdanovich, Gene Hackman, Ally McGraw, Burt Reynolds, and Barbara Streisand.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what Michael Ovitz did. He had all those people, you know, when he did it, you know. I mean, it's incredible. You know, just incredible. If you ever read the books about Michael Ovitz.
He could go see the film. He could care less about the film.
No, I don't think so, Norm. I think he must have been giving I think he gave really good advice. He was a creative guy. That's the thing. Okay.
He literally said to Scorsese that he didn't go see the film.
Wow. It's hard for me to believe that. I think he was reading scripts and giving notes. I understood that he was reading scripts and giving notes. Like I thought he was Michael Ovitz, et cetera. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, do you know who he really was like? Do you know the writer Michael Crichton or Crichton? I don't know how you pronounce that guy's name. Yeah, oh man, they close. I mean, in the books, I mean, it seems like they talk every day. Directors, producers, all the people you commissioned. Sure.
I forgot that he created ER. That was a people's favorite show. Never mind, Randy, Jurassic Park.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
The Andromeda Strain.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody cares about stuff the way you and I do.
No, nobody does. It's safe to say that you and I care about this on a whole other level, and this keeps happening. When we go into different rooms and we go deep on movies, we keep turning people off. What can I do? You know, somebody's putting in. It's you, me, and two other people. A guy named Sam Lee is coming in now. He says that Future World. I don't know what these movies he's referring to. Sam?
I was just saying Michael Crichton wrote Westworld, Future World, Congo. He started off as books, but he was a doctor. He was actually an MD.
That's right.
But the original Westworld, I'm kind of old. I don't know if you've seen the original Westworld with Yul Brynner.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Future World, which was the sequel with Peter Fonda. Of course, he wrote the book Congo, and then they made an adaptation as a movie. But no, that guy was a beast. He wrote a lot.
Wow, yeah. So we're on the same page.
You should read his stuff. Andromeda Strain is a great read.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But what was the other one? What was the one like the bodies in the hospital? I don't remember it.
Coma.
Yeah, Coma. Oh man.
He wrote that. Oh wow. I didn't know he wrote that. That was a serious movie back in the day. Yeah, that was a hit.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking. Norm and I love movies. That's all I can tell you. We love the movie business.
People do. It's sort of rare that people on this app don't.
I like the era when now they go straight to streaming, but back when you had physical media where the movie companies could make money off the back end, a lot of movies that would go straight to streaming now were greenlit. And you had I would go to the theater to go see House with William Capps, who played Greatest American Hero, that horror film that he made back in the day. A lot of those movies probably wouldn't get greenlit today because, like I said, there's no back end there now. There's no physical media to recoup the money. But I saw a lot of just good, not these big budget ones, but the mid to lower budget.
Right. The mid production movies are a casualty of. Yes, there was a lot of prestige films being made at one point. I'm going to go back to this. I just looked it up. Coma. It's a 78 movie based on a 77 novel by Robin Cook. The film rights were acquired by director Michael Crichton, who also wrote the screenplay. The cast includes Genevieve Bujold, Michael Douglas, Richard Widmark, Rip Torn. Among actors with smaller parts are Tom Selleck, Ed Harris, Lois Childs. These are major. Michael Crichton's had a huge career.
Yeah, he was. Like I said,
he died at 66.
Don't you find videos or the technology of videos to be almost kind of like amazing and crazy at the same time? Meaning that like we as Americans, dominantly, have been obsessed with
movies.
Meaning that like
when you say videos, do you mean like
movies
works like movies and TV shows?
Yeah,
of course. It's addictive.
Yeah, exactly.
Addictive. Norm and I are addicted.
It creates dopamine, but now you have real-time feedback. Like this app is technically another variety of media, but you have real-time feedback, which should theoretically make it even more addictive. But where are the party hats on this app? You only see party hats because people get kicked from the app. There's no new users on this piece of shit app. It's not a piece of shit. That's the most amazing thing. It's an amazing app, but there's no new users. There's no marketing, no publicity. There's nothing. This app is just.
Well, that's a decision that was made by the people that run it.
More importantly, they have no way to monetize anything. So
they could if they wanted to. They could run a banner ad.
It's disgusting. From a venture capital, why their investors are not pounding the table and saying, do something. Just think about all the money in servers that they're spending just to run.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir. I don't get it either. I don't get it. I'd pay $4.99 a month for this. I would.
They're selling the back end data. There's an article on Wired magazine about how they're selling the data on this app to real time or to large data buyers, but I think that it's just all based off of relationship because the data is totally useless in terms of consumer sentiment and targeting. It's all I think they're just getting. I think the executives or whatever are getting a good deal on the back end data, but there's no real value there, in my opinion.
It's interesting how trendy and popular it once was.
It was valued at $4 billion.
Yeah, I know. They walked away from that. They were nuts. But people do that all the time.
It's technically it's a publisher's app, but look at your profile. It only stores it stores the rooms in the houses, but on your profile it doesn't show you like it used to, where it actually saved everything. I mean, you can, if you create a room with replays, you'd have to post it to X to build an external archive, which is the craziest thing to me. But I think they do it to cut down on server costs. But it's still there. It just doesn't show on your profile.
I had like 6,000 followers, and then I think they still exist somewhere, but I sort of haven't put in the time.
What happened?
That's your house, though, isn't it?
No, it's friends.
I don't know.
No, if you look at his house, look at El Normo's house. I think it has like 6,000.
Right. Where is El Normo's house?
It should be in his profile.
El Normo's house.
Yeah, look.
7,000.
7,200. You never really create rooms.
But when have you opened up a room in that house anytime recently? I don't know. Am I not noticing it?
Well,
how's everyone doing?
I don't know. I'm not even sure.
Right.
How do I get those friends back? Or are they still?
It's in the house. You have to create a room in your house, and then theoretically, those 7,200 should view it in the feed. But
I just want to give everyone some financial advice tonight.
Oh yeah.
Buy low, sell high.
People in the house.
You can view the. I think you can view the people in
Buy
the house.
high.
Right. Well, that's the other advice.
It's neither what you know or who you know. It's who you.
No time. But you can't put all the people all the time.
What do you some kind of what do you some kind of
Express yourself, Randy.
You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
That's a different.
What are you, some kind of a Canadian?
Not how you do what you do when you do it. Remember that?
Those who can't do, teach Jim. Those who can't,
No,
those who
that's
can't
not how it
teach,
goes.
teach Jim.
No. I was a teacher. It's those who can't teach. Those who can't teach Jim.
And those who can't teach Jim, teach health ed. And those who can't teach health ed, teach driver's ed.
No, the gym teachers teach health ed.
Well, all right. Those who can't teach Jim, teach driver's ed. There you go.
Teachers are very important, and some of them make a lot of money.
Add value, my friend, please.
You know what a disaster? I remember one time as a kid, our gym teacher was our substitute teacher for the day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
disaster.
disaster.
When they're so low on stuff that they have to.
Yeah. I had the best teachers.
Yeah, to the
They
section
still
one
have to
shift.
pay the gym teacher for sitting in.
No, he gets his regular salary. It's just they didn't have anyone else to call in. There was no subs.
He had no. He brought in.
He has to get paid for it.
He brought in a cavalry to TV one day.
If he has to work an extra period, he has to get paid, I believe.
No, he's paid by the year. Most teachers, tenured teachers and non-tenured teachers, are paid for the year. They work the whole day, and if you
have to work.
Now I have one question.
No, if they take the gym teacher off his free period and put him into a class to teach, I believe you have to pay him for that.
As far as I know,
they never paid me more.
I think Godfather's trying to work on some material.
I was
He's
the
trying to
Department
work
of
on some
Education.
material.
Yeah, dude, we're all working on material, man. We're all workshopping.
Workshopping.
Is this a Jewish comic room?
No.
I think he's trying to work on it.
You got open mic tonight?
You got open mic tonight? I think you got open mic. I'm just another.
What is Jewish? I don't even know what that means. What is?
Wait. Is that the Jewish or Jew? Like BHI?
Listen, man, I'm a member of the tribe. I ain't gonna
lie. The tribe? Are you a member of the tribe?
Godfather, who is that in your PTR? Is that the Israeli spy? What's his face?
No, are you tribe talking? Are you tribe talking?
That's not Jonathan Pollard.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan Pollard.
Tribe talking.
Just Danny, are you awake?
No.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm asleep.
Let's talk about it.
So what
I
question?
got a stat for the room. 50% of Lakewood Yeshiva boys make more money than college guys. And 68% of all stats are made up on the fly.
Right. Don't call statistics stats, okay? Would you call your country a cunt?
I mean, it is a country.
Okay, don't abbreviate words. It's disrespectful.
Are you laughing at your own joke right now, Randy?
I often do. I find it works to sell the joke. I'm trying to sell it, Norm.
Can we bring Jeff in here?
Oh my God! Let's not talk about anything like that. Let's not stress each other.
You know, I'm through episode 3. I'm not really impressed with this.
Bring in Rachel.
What show?
If you finish episode 3 and you're not impressed, then you don't need to watch 4. But I thought 3 was.
No, we might as well watch 4.
What, he just gets pissed at a big deal. Like,
No. Well, no. Listen.
Oh my God.
We can talk about it later.
Well, I don't think 4 minutes left in episode.
Yeah, I don't want to insult. I don't want this to turn into. He either likes, you might as well finish it. You might as well finish it.
Yeah, I know. I'm invested. That's the problem. It's called adolescent. Yeah, I'm sure.
Might as well have closure than be able to talk about the whole show.
No.
Why you got the food pyramids in your PTR?
I'm Jewish. You are the person who convinced me to become Jewish. The way people keep talking about it, I feel like I got to try it out.
I thought it was your mom's vagina that just should be Jewish.
I want
Oh
to control the media and the banks. That's why I joined.
I just want like a discount on my Netflix account.
That doesn't work. Oh, you're Jewish? You get 10% off.
Say what second? I'm Gentile. I'm gentle.
So wait, why are any of the Jewish monopolists on this app? I mean, there's just no value here, right? They're smart enough not to be here.
Like, give me an example of a Jewish monopolist.
I don't know, banking, energy,
Is
media.
that Park Place? Like which?
Why are you good?
I am a Jewish monopolist. I have a monopoly. I have multiple versions of Monopoly. I love it.
Why are you
Park
great?
Place?
Yeah. What's your favorite whatever hotel set?
Well, look.
Park Place.
Yeah, that's great. The yellows and the oranges. Everybody learns on those.
Yellows and oranges and greens.
Everybody lands there for some reason.
Buy orange, you win Monopoly.
Wow.
Those are the cheap
That's
ones.
a great strategy. Yeah.
I learned that from a great sage named James Altucher.
Godfather, what's going on?
I know Altucher. Hang on. I've been on panels. I went to Yeshiva with Altucher. We went to Baranovich together.
There's so many rooms on Clubhouse. There's so many rooms.
I know Altucher.
What was he selling? I can't remember anymore.
No, I give you this.
No. I'm talking about somebody particular. You guys James Altucher and I said.
Wasn't he touting Bitcoin with his wig on CNBC? Didn't he go viral from that? I can't remember.
Yeah, that wasn't a wig. That's his hair.
No way. That's got to be a wig. He's got a Phil Spector.
I know him for 30 years. Yeah, he does.
Really? I thought that was a wig for sure.
What's the last time you saw him?
He's a funny man. He does stand up on the subway. Do you think he's funny? No. I saw him at a Gary Goldman comedy thing for HBO.
I love Gary Goldman.
Yeah, he's good.
I love him so much.
So do I.
Can't remember what
I know
the
him on Twitter.
Like, I remember the name, but you know
He's very tall.
Do you know who Matthew?
Oh, yeah, the Jewish comedian. Yeah, he's hysterical. But he was all over, like, Instagram, dropping reels. Nothing. He hasn't done anything recently.
Well, he did a Broadway show in New York. He did a Broadway show in New York.
He's touring right now.
His bit on the
abbreviations of the states.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
And Dottie. Oh, Dot.
Every office had a Dottie.
Oh my God, It was just, it had 4 different routines.
I know. I wish this, if he did it before lunch, I'm gonna, brunch is on me, and then he does a whole thing about an omelet station and the chefs at the omelet. Like nobody goes becomes a chef, so they can become a chef at the omelet.
I don't know who's ever put together 3 or 4 different routines into one bit in about 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And he still could have gone on. It was just hysterical.
Sure. No, you're preaching to the choir.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, he's very good.
We attend the same book club in Harlem.
For real?
With Depression.
The Great Depression.
I would drive
You really go to this book club?
I would drive him to ECT.
Wow.
Darren Goldman from Boston.
Yeah.
But he lives in Harlem.
So,
I follow.
I grew up in Long Island, and then I lived in Massachusetts. So
This guy is saying that he knows him.
He lives in East Harlem.
Along with about 120 other thousand people.
No.
You know what I watched that is still so fresh? I watched the full Who's on
Kitover.
Yes, sir, a couple days ago. I have to tell you, that just stands up so well to the test of time.
Who's on first? I still remember when I was a kid, the first time I heard it. It was magical.
But you have to watch it. Like, if you've seen the black and white of them, it's even better.
My friend, listen, we're friends here who are trying to communicate in friendly ways, and you are a little, like, I don't know what you're doing, and you're kind of harshing my buzz, you know what I'm saying? So I want you to lay back. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Go ahead, somebody.
I don't know. I don't know who he was. What did he...
Whatever, but let's get back to who's on first. Fine, there can be annoying Jews too.
Put it in the chat, Godfather.
Well, I mean, we got one annoying Jew on today. Actually, we got pretty good. Everyone gets multiple annoying Jews.
hear what he had to say about altitude.
I will say
Talk privately with him.
being intentionally annoying with an extremely annoying voice on this app is like a form of warfare communication.
Hurt your throat after a while. Here, now you can talk, okay? And kill our buzz. Yeah, but doesn't it hurt your voice after a while?
No, not really. It's basically, I realized it's technically what Gilbert Godfrey did.
Oh my God, that man.
Yeah.
Oh God, we're gonna go down that rabbit hole. You know we all can do it.
It's so funny, and we talked about this the other day. But that overemphasized voice just drove me insane. I hated it.
But it was also what he said. He's very smart.
No, it was very good, but I just wish he said it with maybe just, that goy that tries to be, on the app, tries to sound Jewish. What is it?
Yes, I know who you mean. That terrible guy.
Yeah, he has kind of like a Yiddish accent, that guy. Like, if Gilbert Gottlieb did it like that.
Armenian from LA.
What?
Yeah, you can go.
But why would you want to
Are you
say...
talking about Alan?
No, I don't. I'm just saying. It's so offensive. It rubs me the wrong way. I know some people love him. I couldn't stand it.
Children love him. He was really popular in children's cartoons.
He was on Howard Stern all the time.
But then suddenly he wasn't.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, we never figured
He
out
made
what
a
happened.
joke about the Japanese tsunami.
That's like...
No, but that's not why he got banned from Stern.
Something with little kids.
Did you ever hear him do the Aristocrats joke?
For doing the other shows, but then get bored with people.
Did you hear?
He got banned from...
What, Adrian?
He got canceled from Aflac and other places.
Right.
Yeah.
The tsunami joke. Right.
Oh yeah! Wow.
What was the tsunami?
I did need a Christmas daughter.
Honestly, I forgot what the joke was.
Have you ever heard him do the Aristocrats joke?
Yeah, he's in the movie, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah, he's the one. I was there for that live delivery of the Aristocrats. It was, without a question, the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Wait, you were in the Friars
I was
Roast?
before. Yeah, the Hugh Hefner Friars Roast. Yeah, I was there for that thing.
That's a disgusting joke.
Were you ever tempted to join the Friars or any of the other groups?
Yes, I was very close to doing it.
Which one? The Friars?
The one in Manhattan.
Yeah. I meant so you're talking about the Friars. Because there's another club. There's another couple of clubs too. Yeah, I wish I joined the Friars.
So the two standouts from that night were Jeff Ross
and Gilbert, and also Greg Giraldo, who is hilarious. By the way,
Do you want to hear Gilbert Gottlieb?
Yeah.
He went to law school with me.
He was a lawyer. Wait,
You went to Harvard Law?
And
Godfather, you went to Harvard Law?
No, it's. What's the
Wait,
name
wait,
of the
I
library?
dropped out.
What's the name of the library?
You dropped out after one semester?
Wait, just wait. I'm in the middle of a thought, for God's sake. So this night, the Hugh Hefner roast was it was right after the 9/11, by the way, the Arab terrorist attack on us. So it was like one of the first moments in which you could laugh again. And it was in court. Remember, they stopped all programming on television for a few days. Right? All the programming stopped. Like everything ground to a halt, if you remember. I don't know how old you guys are. It's 25 years ago. So anyway, with never in my life have I been doubled over, getting a stomachache and gasping for breath. Literally, I was just dying. From the Aristocrats was a highlight. He did one set. He came back for a second set with I wanted to go to California, and I didn't want to go all the way to the airport. I asked if I could pick up the plane at the Empire State Building. And that did not go over.
Do you want to hear his tsunami jokes? I got them.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Japan is really
advanced. Yeah, if you lost your girlfriend, don't worry, another one will come floating by right away.
Yeah, okay, so Japan is really advanced. They don't go to the beach. The beach comes to them. Japan called me. They said, maybe those jokes are a hit in the United States, but over here, they're all stinking. And then...
still funny.
Yeah.
The jokes are still funny.
Yeah, I love them. They say...
He tweeted these.
Yeah, they're all tweets. Many of them.
With a permanent record. Yeah. You know, all tweets are in the Library of Congress, by the way.
What, really?
Yeah.
Why can I only find those two?
I don't know. Maybe that's all there were.
Nothing happened in Japan today, did it? It's just like, he begins setting the crowd into nervous laughter. It's just like to be extra careful. Anything at all. Even a little drizzle. I don't want to talk about it. If someone thinks book flows, I'm not going to mention it. That was his response.
Right.
One of my favorite jokes is a guy walks into a room and sees his kid masturbating. Goes, son, if you keep doing that, you're going to go blind. And the kid says, Dad, I'm over here.
He says, with 10,000-foot waves coming at them, they were over there going, how do you spell God?
That's really good too. The guy, I think he was my favorite comedian of all time. I would say.
Yeah. Oh, he says even while their houses were being pulled into the ocean, the Japanese weren't worried about the tsunami. It was the Junami. Oh my God. Yeah, like yeah, no, he's funny. It's just that voice is like just distracted. I couldn't focus on the humor. I could only focus on how grating that voice was.
Well, I wanted to ask him how he developed that voice, and he was like notoriously shut down. He said he didn't really know. I think he created another persona because he was very shy in person.
Maybe.
But very weird.
Oh, dude, when you see the interviews of him with his kids, like, the home videos, he's all normal. He doesn't talk to his kids like that.
Holy shit. You know why he got fired? Approximately 70% of Aflac's capital was reported to be in Japan at the time. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure you didn't know that.
I worked with the ad agency that hired him for Aflac. And it was disastrous for them as well. And they started by saying,
if I mention a company, like,
what?
Work for every company, Norm. It's amazing.
Captain Taylor.
So hold on, I'm gonna mention a company at random. You tell me.
But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Time Warner.
It doesn't work that way.
Yes, it does. Because literally.
Listen, he does. Norm did a lot of projects.
I know.
He didn't work for Captain Taylor for 20 years. He did a project with them.
Say that again. What'd you say?
I'm saying that you work on different projects. You don't work with them for 5 years. He did a project with them. He's a consultant producer.
Exactly.
It's not hard to
I'm never a
imagine.
consulting producer.
I'm trying to help you. Norm, I'm trying to sell the bullshit. Come on.
It's not
Protein producer is I'm an executive producer.
Okay, I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Hey, come on, be nice. He's your friend. He's our
I know. He's one of my best friends.
What are you talking about with my friend? Well, my friend who demotes me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Title.
Oh, come on. I'm sorry.
That little storm.
Never mind, sorry. You're going to hear from my agent now, Randy.
Oh,
I'm your lawyer. Fuck the
my agent who go up and down Wilshire Boulevard are gonna. What was the famous line that Ovid said to Jeff Esterhaus or Esterhausy?
Joe Esterhaus.
Joe, my agents who go up and down Wilshire Boulevard, they're gonna be gunning for you. You know, that's famous Mike Ovid's thing.
I don't get that line.
Sorry. Okay, you know about what the war between Mike Ovitz and Joe Esterhazy. Do you know about that?
Thanks a lot for being mean to me, Yakov. Kind of.
Mean? Come on.
Put a pin in it. We'll get it later.
I'm here and you pick me.
Oh, Norman, don't be a braggart. I'm an executive producer, two-time Pulitzer nominee.
True. It didn't give like a message at the top. So and so.
I know.
Like,
I was gonna go in the chat and be like, I support Palestine, bring me up.
hold on.
I support Palestine, who cares?
I support Palestine too.
Yeah, man. I saw Palestine, Texas. Every year I give money to Palestine, Texas.
Yeah, I was gonna say Palestine, Texas.
It's great months.
There's one in Ohio. Rubble.
Norman, didn't I call it exactly what was going to happen?
The rubble?
Oh, yeah.
Where are they going to put all that?
I told them they were going to kick it back off so quick, and everybody's like, no. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
You sound so much like, who's that guy?
Like Rich.
Gilbert Gottfried. No. He comes from he's from New York, works in the security business.
From Sensi.
No. Regular guy. Remember his name? Whatever. Just matter. Sound just a.
You're a good man. There we go. That's what you guys do.
I've been sending the department.
We all just finished. I just seen who that is.
Let's all talk over each other.
Long time no see. We just finished running a marathon. We're just chilling now.
Let's just say
I watched that movie Patriots yesterday. Very good movie by Peter Berg. You ever watch that one, Ren?
No.
Very good. It's about the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. I'm a big fan of Peter Berg.
So, what do you think about that Boston bombing thing? Because I heard that was like, not necessarily authentic. Was it authentic?
They're innocent.
What, the Jews did it?
They're innocent.
No, I don't know. I mean, what did they use? A pressure cooker to create?
Yeah. I mean, that makes a bomb. They put nails and BBs and stuff in a pressure cooker with some fire, like a lot of.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know. I mean, it was real though. Like those two punks.
Yeah, it was definitely real. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Definitely.
Do you remember they?
What? What? Say that start again. I couldn't hear you. No.
He's busy making a documentary.
Yeah, everybody's beating themselves.
Yeah, something's going on. No, it's fine. Yeah, that guy, younger brother is waiting execution.
Rolling Stone put a picture of one of the two bombers on the cover looking like Jim Morrison, like bibliography. And speaking of the glorification of murderers, in California there's a bill named after Luigi Mangione.
I cannot believe that. That was that's the most effed up. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. And what is it about? It's about like stalkers or something. Like it's named after a stalker, or something crazy like that.
I think it's
Oh, healthcare. Yeah, access to healthcare. They should name it after the guy who got killed. Somehow they think Luigi Mangione is trying to fight for universal healthcare. So it's probably some socialist.
Isn't it kind of funny that people want universal health care before even universal basic income? It's like, are people that fucking stupid to rebroadcast propaganda? It's like, wouldn't you rather just get a check every month?
Yeah, the communists tried that. Didn't work out too well.
Well, I think if you wanted to do away with the Federal Reserve, you could technically enema Congress and the Federal Reserve by giving Americans liberty checks. It doesn't have to be forever, but the flow of money is important, and we all know that prior to Trump, it was all going overseas and internally for a bunch of woke ass spending. So I, myself would prefer liberty checks sent to me and other Social Security number bearers as opposed to wasting all that money on gender reeducation assignment surgeries in Guatemala.
Okay.
I don't know. Did you watch the Elon Musk speech in Green Bay, Wisconsin, when he lost that Supreme Court voting, initiative? There was a young girl that came to the mic, and she said, "I've heard you found a lot of money with Doge. I'm just wondering if we're ever going to get a check and maybe get some of that money." And I'm thinking, like, man, this poor girl, like, she doesn't fucking get it. I just felt bad for her because she was so beautiful, but so stupid.
What was his response?
His response was, the more money we eliminate that's being wasted and that's being wasted, the greater the economy will be, and the more the more prices will go down, your purchasing power. And it's just a very generic response. And the fact is, nobody's entitled to any of that money that should never have been planned to be spent, to begin with. So,
John, if you look at the use rocket,
yeah.
Go do the unhinged one and ask about Elon. Fuck is there.
I've never tried the unhinged. I usually just use it to create images, but honestly, Google's AI in YouTube or Gemini is very good. You want to say you haven't said the Shema yet?
I asked if I missed anything Geschmack.
Wow. Okay.
Geschmack is a Yiddish word. It means delicious. Geschmack. Geschmack.
Geh kachen lichtig in dein Augen. Fusta!
Die weißen Mammeloschen.
I'm also good nighting.
What?
Also good nighting.
You're good nighting? Is that a verb?
Yeah.
In Germany, good nighting?
I just made it into one.
Okay.
Does anybody know what's inside Hashem's tefillin?
I don't know the entire universe.
I was listening to a lecture about. Have you ever heard of this guy Daniel Mott? He's a professor at Stanford in California.
One of these weird academic types.
He was saying, in man's tefillin is the Shema, but in Hashem's tefillin, I guess this is in the Babylonian Talmud, it says that Hashem is Israel, but ours is reversed.
Way to run Yaakov off for
But I got a question for the people in the room.
What? Does Hashem wear tefillin? Yeah, it's in the Talmud. Didn't you know?
Well, that's the thing. Moses said to God, I want to see your face. And God said, you can see the back of my tefillin.
Good one, Godfather. Randy, what are you doing? Doing your taxes?
Oh, I wish. I'm just doing some other jive. Some work.
Randy files for the extension.
Thank you. So tell me about law school. You went for 1L. What was that like?
I got laid for the first time and the last time.
Well, what was his name?
A Harvard lawyer? A Harvard law law student or someone else? Like
with a half Asian, half Indian classmate.
Sounds good to me, bro.
Did you start off studying and then it ended up with this?
I switched. I transferred to the University of Buffalo.
Why?
I took a gap year.
So, do you mind if I ask you, did you not do well at Harvard? Did you have was it challenging?
J1, welcome back to the show.
I had the ADHD.
The what?
The attention disorder.
Erectile dysfunction disorder.
It's tough, man. Believe me. I'll never forget. I'll tell you one story from
Controlling. We're filming comedy over here. We got a Netflix deal. We got an HBO deal. We got a Showtime deal. We got a TNT TBS deal. We got a CNN deal. We got deals.
So when you got to Harvard, you felt like you were with a lot of people who had done it.
If John Cena can be this famous putting out the dumbest movies in the world, we can put out even dumber movies.
Right. Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. Imposter reality. Real imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
Wow.
Fuck
True
John.
imposter.
Fuck their government.
Yeah.
Let's brainwash
So
the people.
I'm betting you're an ex-convict. Am I right?
No, nothing really interesting.
Is there a monolithic
Blown
sound
off,
to an ex-convict?
wasting time, blowing off steam.
So that's a yes?
Come to the talking apes, man.
Oh hell no! Hell no! I don't want to lose any IQ points.
Background.
Oh yeah. The kids are ready.
Those guys are funny.
So you're
I know.
an
I've trolled them a million times.
The Lithuanians don't have reddies. They have rabbanim.
How long you been on here?
Since 2020.
So you're
My
an ex
Zeta
I've been
was
stuck.
a Gona
It's like
Villa.
purgatory. Can't seem to get out. I don't seem to want to get out.
Yeah, if I had a dollar for every chick who says that.
No, my mom's maiden name is Kramer.
Like,
I feel like I'm gonna be in here in a minute, man.
Is her first name Cosmo?
That was very long ago.
His name was Rabbi Eliyahu.
Just run for your life and forget it exists. There's no party hats. It's just a containment field for Ghostbusters.
The terrorists.
It's literally
yeah.
man. You're right.
Well, yeah.
It's a sanitarium.
I want to do stand up. I really want to get out there and go, but
You look so old
the
now.
world is audience is
Yeah, but
You know the Woody Allen line.
You know that killed.
Go ahead.
The two old Jewish
Let me
women
ask these people. a
having
question.
lunch in the Catskills.
Keep going. There's a bunch of
Waiter.
Go ahead.
The
The
food
one
is
says to the other,
the food is
disgusting.
And
And
such
the
small
other one says, and the
portions.
portions is
Well, basically, what I'm saying is it's like Kill Tony, where you do a live stream comedy show.
That
Like,
was the joke.
you know, you have all these phones set up and people are listening to a
true, but there's
room
other
and
good ones
trolling
in that
rooms. Like the show is essentially a prank call show live
Groucho
using
Marx would maybe
Funhouse.
Sigmund Freud that I would never want to be a part of a club that would have.
And then you live
meetings for
stream the
members.
event as well on YouTube.
It basically is. I've been to Kill Tony before, but not on stage.
Okay, moving right along.
Funny kid.
I tried to troll Kill Tony by dropping a fake name.
Anyway,
You know, Freud had a nephew, Barmays. You know about Barmays?
Right, with Barmays. The father of modern advertising.
That's like he was a great great grandson of Samson Raphael Hirsch's Rebbe.
That name in the bucket.
What about Matthew
That's
Ford?
from
You know that
Barbados.
name?
Called it, but
No
I
telescope.
troll Kill Tony.
Matthew Ford, I believe. Is that his name? He's a top publicist in LA and he's married to one of the Murdoch children. Let me look him up.
My nephew is Alex Soros.
What'd you say?
Oh my God! I mean, between you and Norm, you probably know half of
I
America.
think everybody's funny if they try to be funny and they clip it. You know, after enough time, you're gonna get funny stuff, but it's not like everybody's cup of tea on average. You know.
His spouse is Elizabeth Murdoch. They're divorced, but they have 3 kids.
Yeah, if you can be cruel, your average actually goes up, which is kind of fucked up. But
Thinking fast and
cruelty is involved in laughter.
I think it's called thinking fast and slow, actually.
So the writer Kahneman, his uncle was the head chief of
This is
Punisher,
called Refuge from Low IQ.
Rabbi Kahn, and it was just unembargoed that Danny Kahneman committed suicide.
Okay.
Who's Danny Kahn?
Who, the author?
It's El Normo's the host.
Yeah, he went to Pegasus in Switzerland in March of 2024.
What did he write? He was depressed?
No, he said I'm 90
Oh,
and I'm on my last legs. So why not? I had a nice life.
That's okay to do, I think.
I disagree.
Well,
I think it's okay. If you have a bad disease, if you don't want your family to deal with your disease, then it makes sense. I guess maybe he has some kind of condition.
He thought it was about to happen. That's what he thought. He thought it's Michael Jordan stepping down just before the precipitous drop.
Just endure till the end.
He thought so, yeah. He said I'm starting to get the mental lapses and my kidneys are on their last legs.
Yeah, listen, I know people in New York and New Jersey who tried to get that done, and
you get turned down.
Yeah, you get turned down. You have to have a doctor saying that you're going to die within 6 months.
Yeah, he was a big enough power to dictate how he dies.
Oh, where's Pepe? We need Pepe to come in here, to talk about the kidney salesmen out of New Jersey.
I'll sell you my kidney.
Oh man.
I'll sell you a piece of my liver.
This business, dude.
It's pretty crazy to think, you're running like a kidney, donation or any kind of organ donation.
We do need Pepe to come in here and call the black people chimps and say the Jews run the world.
Whatever happened to the old crew?
They died.
No, like Roop.
Oh, Roop. Yeah, I remember Roop. I hope she's doing well. I don't really know anything about her.
She converted. She married my cat's nephew.
Are you serious?
Your cat's nephew?
Did Roop get married?
Zach.
I feel this is a joke.
They started a multinational conglomeration.
Alright, I feel like you're doing a joke.
Do you remember Tali? She's in the Chilla
She's a
somewhere.
sweet girl. I hope she finds a nice guy, okay?
Do you know
she's a sweet Yiddish mamala.
She has a heart of gold, okay?
Don't say anything.
Bubba-Khana has a heart of gold.
These are beautiful people. Who are you? Are you Jastro?
Who's Jastro?
Isn't this Johnny? Yeah, it's
Listen,
Johnny.
Michael. Sorry, I thought we were just saying random names.
No, I think that. Do you know this kid named Johnny on this app? He used to go by Johnny.
No, I don't.
Jewish kid, I think. He lives in Israel, maybe. I'm not sure.
Johnny, can you hear me?
What's new with you, Rich? How's everything going?
Not much. Same shit, different day.
Oh, it's a beautiful image.
Yeah, I started a business about a month and a half ago. That's why I've been busy.
What kind of business?
A recruiting
agent.
Do you think some people?
I'm a psychotherapist.
Do you think some people go through their whole lives and they never realize that like the size of their shits every morning are directly proportional to how much food they ate the day before?
I think you have to be pretty dumb not to realize that.
No, it's not true. If you eat a lot
Come on, guys. This is not a topic for us, okay?
It is. Scotology is my specialty.
No.
Tautology.
All right. Bye-bye, okay?
Bye-bye.
I don't know which one of you nutters to make a mod.
Let's just kill the room. Have a great evening, great afternoon.
Kick everybody in the audience, and then he'll start playing his fucking psycho-hypnosis bullshit.
I also have another room going called This Isn't Funny, so thanks.
Is this being broadcast into there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's being broadcasted into the ethos, but I mean, nobody's hearing it.
All right, guys, listen. I'm ending the room. All right. Ciao.
Kill the room.
him sacrifice the pig.
I get it from you guys' delusional standpoint. Like, I get how the story makes sense to you now. Like anything, you're gonna attribute all of their success to basically, like, you know, spiritual, like, fucking warfare and magic and fucking, you know, that it's like, but like most normal people are gonna see, like, obviously here's a completely social explanation for all of this.
Well, let me
like, I don't
say
see why you wouldn't favor the spiritual one.
Hardly any of the stuff that I make cases for. Revelation is not the book to do that from. I don't really. I'll do it maybe a little bit for the deity of Christ.
The other one's for like Thessalonians stuff.
Yeah, if we go to the text, if we go to those texts, that's fine. I'll listen to a case.
Say Revelations.
Because I said Revelation was the one I was just reading. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying the past.
I'm saying that the case. Obviously, I'm not making the case exclusively from.
I wasn't just from. I'm not. I'm just saying to make a case using Revelation. You won't hear me doing that very often for the things that I make cases for. And you say that I'm very credulous about those things. But when it comes to this, yeah, I'm a little bit incredulous. You're taking an apocalyptic, prophetic book that is historically extremely difficult to interpret, and you have people
that's Revelation, though.
Yeah, I agree. That's the
that's not the only thing. I don't know why you keep saying that.
I think in the Hebrew it's
what I mean is the book of the Bible, which is Revelation.
That's what I mean. The entire New Testament.
The whole Bible. And I'll listen, but I don't think that is really my particular call to be doing that kind of thing and with Heather and Prophecy. Maybe that'll change, but listen, I'll listen to it. You sit here now and actually listen to it too. We'll get Benny Adem or whoever it is to make their it's okay to hate a group of people. I don't think that's correct. And so if these people, which they typically come off very anti-Semitic, they're like, F the Jews, etc. I'm not in favor of that at all. Christ is very clear about loving everyone and loving your enemies. You love them. So I cannot buy any of that nonsense.
Yeah, but that's all I need, though.
Okay.
I just need you to
listen
to characterize the contemporary Jewish people as enemies, and that's enough for me to call it anti-Semitic. I don't give a shit if you love them. I don't give a shit if you love them or not. Like, that's bad enough.
There's something that's Andrew. Something insidious about what you're doing, because Andrew's more likely to throw out his philo-Semitism rather than his Bible. So, like, if you're trying to push on this, like, he's more likely to become an anti-Semite than, like, project the Bible. So, like, there's something deeply insidious about what you're up to. Like,
I mean, maybe
like, you know how I'm committed to certain commitments, and you're like, actually, Sam, you should, like, do all this evil shit because, like, my other commitments. It's like, I don't know if that's why.
Well, to be honest, it actually isn't. Like, if it was just purely pragmatic, then, like, yeah, I wouldn't. But, like, I don't know, there is something, like, interesting about how, like, on all these, like, I think it's a testament to Andrew that, like, he actually is a good dude. The fact that, like, he won't make these kinds of connections, but he'll make the most tenuous connections.
It's an underhanded deal he's doing here. So it's underhanded.
What do you mean?
It's a compliment. What do you mean? An attack on Christianity. It's an attack on the text, and I don't agree with that. I don't think the text is making the case that you're trying to say.
No. Like, you're a dishonest person. You say this isn't problematic, but like you just pick some arbitrary verse in the Quran and say, "Oh, this was really problematic." Like, you don't think they could context away things like you can?
Yeah, people context away things all the time, but I think when you read the text,
but you would agree it's like problem. It's fucking kill the infidels is like problematic.
Things don't say anything.
It's a problematic verse, isn't it?
Things don't just say anything. So you can't just do that. These things are tied together in a very specific way. There's a lot of it's not just anything can happen. You could just pull from over here and do this.
You just said yourself that it's like really obscure and hard to.
The book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is obscure. and you shouldn't use it to build
But
doctrine.
what you keep saying though, I don't know. Like, so is it fair to say then that like it's not like easy to contextualize it? Actually, it's really difficult. Actually, you could be completely wrong, and it should be instructing you to like love the people that you believe are the most evil in this world. I don't know. Like,
apart from what I've already said, which is the book of Revelation is the most apocalyptic, cryptic book of the whole Bible by far. Okay, apart from that, no, the rest of it can be contextualized and understood much better, much more grounded, anchored. And you're going to be doing all this blurring of stuff, and this stuff's just like, oh, you can believe anything and do anything. This just permits you to do whatever you want. You can construct any kind of doctrine you want. No, that's not true. People that aren't studious and don't care, yeah, they can and do and have. But that's not what I'm pushing for, and I'm not in favor of that. And I'll listen to somebody's anti-Semitic case and hear them make it and see how it can draw. If Scripture teaches it, yeah, I'll take it. But I have a hard time believing they're going to draw on 3 passages from Paul, the one from Revelation, and give me this cohesive narrative that's going to have me turn out to be an anti-Semite. Don't think it's going to work. The Bible is consistent on how we should treat one another and how people should be treating all people in the world and how we should care for people and that God wants all of them to be saved. It's explicit. There's all kinds of stuff on this. It is not.
I respect what you're saying. You're basically saying like you're a better man than your Bible and pushing stuff. You were reading the Bible. You were reading the Bible before. If it's in any way in conflict with your moral intuitions, it's just sad. It's sad that doesn't apply to all of those children that gets like slaughtered routinely and all these biblical.
You mean the 3 million that you slaughter every year?
It's just sad. No, but I mean, like, I'm being legit. Like, it's sad that like it doesn't apply in those cases. But I'm happy at least the buck stops.
Wait. Sad that
I'm happy the buck stops at like contemporary racism and bigotry. I'm happy.
Hold on.
Like legitimately, it makes me proud.
Hold on. Which kids? Oh, well, thank you. Which kids are you talking about? They are getting slaughtered. Apart from
like who I'm talking about. Come on, don't be silly.
The Amalekites. Oh yeah, you really care about the Amalekites.
No, I don't care about anyone. I'm saying
I know you don't.
You don't care about them, but you do care about contemporary population, like contemporary ethnic groups. I think that's commendable.
Andrew, I gotta defend you on abortion because I was thinking about honor killing today and how like deeply creepy it is that someone could like override their natural instincts to love their child and kill their daughter. Like, oh, my daughter posts sexy pics on social media, and instead of like forgiving her and loving her and getting her to do better, I'm gonna slaughter her. I'm gonna fucking like watch the life go out of her eyes as I like. There's something like deeply creepy and like monstrous that makes me feel like people that do that like are barely humans. So like I kind of like now more understand your feeling about abortion, given that you think that like that's just what they're doing, like that people are killing their own children. I don't know. I got a new like understanding of where you're coming from, even though I don't agree that they're people. I had this feeling of like parents having this special duty.
I do.
He doesn't believe either.
But I'll just tell you, it's absolutely it's a. I honestly, Sam, I actually reflected on it. And I was like, that's actually a strong motivator for me to join the Catholic Church. I'm not kidding you. And I don't even know if I don't know that I could work through a lot of their doctrine. I don't know that I could do that if I could accept it. But I'm just saying the fact that they have been the consistent group that has fought abortion. And, I'm hearing Ethan make the case for the Catholic Church. He's always been interested in the apostolic traditions, right? But it was EO, but he's like, well, actually, and it's just interesting. Their sexual ethics, they don't ordain, homosexuals or anything like that as being, certain positions in there. And then they're also going to be condemning abortion, and just outright. And now they have a pretty extreme stance on like birth control and stuff like that. And I can't remember if it's an official stance that you can't use at all. If that's up to you. But the point is that's like a huge motivator for me. Like that's like something that is something. It is such a barbaric thing. I've almost said before, I'm like a one-issue voter. If I knew something was going to support abortion and the other person wasn't, the person that's supporting abortion may have a ton of other great policies, but if they're supporting abortion, that's going to be a major red flag for me. And because it's like you are taking the image of God and killing it in its most vulnerable state when it should be in its most protected, safe space.
Killing a baby.
And I think that is just like it is. I think it's on par with like a massive ritual, and it's concerning on such a deep level. I don't even know what to say. But I'm glad that you said that. I do appreciate that because it is like when you see somebody die and something like that, right? Well, I only see videos of something like that, apart from like movies, obviously. But you see somebody get stoned to death or something like that, it can really turn your stomach. But you see an honor killing, which I haven't watched that, but I mean, Caleb loves that. Well, he doesn't love it, but he's watched a lot of these, like, and I don't know, I'm not trying to, whatever, but he's watched a lot. Go ahead.
It's interesting to me that you, when you talk about, like, for you, the motivation that makes it feel especially uncanny is that they're, like, the image of God in this place where they're supposed to be the most safe. Like, that is more motivating you. Because I was saying the thing that motivates me about the honor killing is, like, it's your parents. It's your parents killing the person.
Oh, yeah.
And like, that to me is the creepy thing. Like, I see the creepiness of what you're saying, of, like, the most innocent person in the most vulnerable position, and that's who you're killing. Yeah. But, like, the thing I always point out with the honor killing is, like, it's your fucking parents, bro. Like, you made this child. You spent, like, you know, you were the person who's supposed to love this person more than anyone. And you're gonna kill them and not forgive them and try to help them. Like, that to me, I had this, like feeling today, like, oh, this is so much worse than I'd even thought about. Like, when I really think about the implication of what that means, about what that person is doing and how, like, what it says about their psychology and how, like, broken they are. I don't know.
No, and it's like, if you think about it, it's like the father that's typically associated with punishment and the mother's more of the soft. Historically, I mean, it's just kind of how it's been, right? But the thing is like, so a father doing an honor killing, you know, in the name of the family name or whatever, okay, that's something, right? But what I'm talking about, yeah, it is I'm speaking about it, and it's carried with it, that it's the parents. Obviously, it's not someone else that's making the decision. And in fact, it's the mother, the one that is least, that should be the, like, the one that should be the weaker, the softest of the two sexes, is the one that's choosing to kill her baby. And I just think that is just like the most, like, that is such a topsy-turvy, radical undermining of what God has intended for man. It's just, that is so deeply, deeply disturbing to me. And if you watch abortions, which I'm not whatever, I'm not a fan of, I can barely watch stuff like that. But when you watch an abortion or watch the delimbing and the crushing of the skull and the fluid that comes out, and they're like, they have to get all the pieces, like they're putting a puzzle together to make sure that the woman doesn't get infected from pieces of the baby. That's just like deeply, deeply disturbing to me. And, you know, when you actually see that it looks like a baby, it's pretty concerning, dude.
It's not pleasant, right?
Yeah. Not pleasant.
I don't think anyone thinks it's pleasant.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll just tell you, Bob. I mean, there's one thing that just my stomach was just like so turned that they had like this.
I think that's a healthy reaction.
I think, and I appreciate that. I think there's this event held in Oregon or somewhere that had this, and I could pull up the clip, but this woman was there. And the name of the event was Shout Your Abortion. And the lady that was speaking was talking about how she was like, had so many fond memories because she was from out of town, from the town that they're doing this event at.